So today we celebrate the feast day of St. Alphonse Liguore, Bishop, Doctor of the Church. And probably if there was such a thing as a patron saint of a workaholic, it would be this guy, because he was a workaholic. In fact, at one point, his superior told him he needed to stop writing for a while because everything that he did was so prolific. He wrote volumes and volumes. He was so compulsive and so much of a workaholic that when he was instructing his students, he would play the harpsichord at the same time. Now imagine sitting there playing the piano or a harpsichord or an organ while you're sitting there instructing a group of people. But that's what he did. And to our mind today, people would think he was a little off center or maybe even a little crazy. There's a great book, Don Quixote, which was made into a movie and a play called The Man of La Mancha. And there's a great quote in that book where Don Quixote is responding to people accusing him of being a madman. And his response is this. He says, "Too much sanity may be madness. Too much sanity may be madness. And the maddest of all are those who see life as it is and not as it should be." The maddest of all are those who see life as it is and not as it should be. Now, as we've listened to Jesus' teachings the last 2 days, they can bring us to scratching our head a little bit because he's talking about the kingdom of heaven, and he's talking in all of these images about weeds and wheat and fish that you throw out and all of these other things, trying to describe heaven to us. The kingdom of God, actually I should say, which is the whole, not just heaven, but when the kingdom comes here. And it's hard for us to understand. The only way he can describe that is, it is like, it is this way. He can't tell us, well, this is, describe it, because nobody would understand it. My brothers and sisters, if we remember, even our prophets were accused of being madmen. When we go through the world, sometimes we Catholic Christians are accused of being crazy, nuts. We got it all wrong. We can't possibly know what we're talking about. How can there be this heaven that you talk about? How can there be these things? Even people who, even though Jesus is in historical books, who try to tell us that Jesus didn't exist. And that's why we learn through these allegories, these stories, and so that we can start comparing our experience to those things that happen there. Being a Christian over the years that we've been around has never been easy, and oftentimes hard to understand. But just remember, there is a reward at the end of this. And if you believe there is no reward, then who's the crazy one?